Hey guys, Black Otaku here. This video is not going to be my funniest or my angriest or my rant video. This is pretty much a very serious topic that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the whole idea of working into the anime industry. Now, for those of you guys know, there's been a white person, not trying to be racist. He moves to Japan and he's working on an anime company. I mean, he's working on animation. He says he wants to work on a low animation company, and then he was moved to Studio Pierrot, the company that made Tokyo Ghoul and Naruto. Now there was an article on otakusomething.com. I'm going to put the link down in the description below if you guys want to read it. He talks about how his life is of working, making animation from Japan, and he says his life is just a living hell there because he works like harder and harder every week, and he says making these animation is not an easy job. It's a really painful job, and it's very rough for some reasons and stuff, because in Japan doing animation is a very rough job. Now, I understand making anime is hard to do, and I understand anime is really expensive to make because of, you know, companies and stuff. But when I read this article, I never really imagined it could be that hard. And what's really sad, what kind of a little angers me is, how does the anime industry treat their employees who work on the anime for how much they put on making anime? Because you people need to understand, anime is really expensive to make because of their budgets and because of their the way they make these animes is really expensive to make because of the way they make it. So it's really just sad to see these people working their asses off and trying to make their own anime, trying to make these animes really good and stuff, which is just kind of sad to me. Now, what's really sad is that some anime companies treat their employees like crap, and that's just kind of sad to hear and stuff. Now, you'll probably say, well, they must have paid well. Let me tell you, Japan is a really expensive economy, and I completely understand, and I don't understand is how can people live in this economy, because since Japan is a really expensive place to live, the rents, you know, stuff like that, and I completely understand why do some Japanese take a lot of trains and stuff. So the story was that the worker, I forget his name, he says that there was an employee who worked from Studio Pierrot, I believe, and he worked like hours and hours a day, and he only paid like $300 like a month or so, and then the way his life was so miserable, he committed suicide, and that was just pretty sad to hear and stuff. So the point is, if you're a person who wants to become an animator in Japan, it's not an easy job. There is a cost to make. Now, when I say what is the roughest job in Japan, it's mangaka and being an animator. I think those are the two most roughest jobs in Japan. Now, in America, we have rough jobs, but our jobs are not that rough. So, basically, all I'm saying is, if you guys are going to watch anime, I hope you guys respect them for what they did, and try to respect them for how much effort they put into these animes and stuff, which is just sad. I mean, not sad, but the way they treat their employees like crap is just sad and stuff, because the way they pay minimal. Now, I completely understand. You probably say, why don't they just quit their jobs? Because how much they treat them like that. Well, you need to understand, some employees love this job because they have a passion for making animation. Well, some of them had to stick with this job because they're probably under contract. They probably have to put a roof over their heads. They probably have to feed their family, put some food on the table. So probably this is the only job they have, and some of them got really exhausted and vomited and stuff, which is just pretty sad to hear, and it makes me a little angry that how can you treat your employees like that? You need to give them some decency and stuff. Well, personally, reading this article makes me realize how hard it is for Japan and how hard it is to make anime, which is just kind of sad to hear that. So I'm going to put the link down in the article so you guys can read it for yourself. So bottom line is, if you're a person who wants to be an animator or a mangaka, if you want to move in Japan, there is a price. Japanese economy is really expensive, and being an animator and a mangaka is not going to be an easy job. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, guys, that's it, and that'll be all for today, so I'll catch you guys later. Peace.